Hey, everybody, good morning. Hopefully you're having a good weekend so far. We're going to have a pretty awesome weekend. This is my buddy Tyler.
What's up, everybody?
Tyler has never shot archery.
That's true. First time.
First time, never shot archery. So he literally hasn't done anything except allow me to get him a bow based off a guess, really. So hopefully by later tonight, you're going to be shooting, enjoying archery, and hopefully within within a week, you might actually be enjoying being a hunter too with a bow. So this morning we're going to go through a couple basic things that anyone who's wanting to get into archery, you're going to need to kind of follow these steps. We're going to talk through several things. The equipment that I picked for them, different equipment options that you may have, and then also general fit and general sizing, and really talk through that. And then I'm going to give Tyler, I'm going to introduce him to just practicing how to pull back, how to shoot. This is actually the AccuBow. These guys sent me this thing. At first I just thought it was a kind of a workout tool, but actually I've rigged it up to where this is what I've been using for people to learn to actually work through a release aid for the first time. So I'm going to do this through steps, and the reason why we have one live feed this morning and then we're going to have another one tonight is because I'm going to go through some basic setups and measurements for Tyler so that I can build his bow. The bow is right over here. You've actually, what'd you get? Did you get the Nitrum? So he's got a Nitrum. I've pretty much put the accessories on it. We can talk about that too in a little bit, but we're gonna get his basic measurement and then I can fine tune the draw length. I think we'll actually film my setup portion and post that on a Facebook page separately. And then I'm gonna give him some introductory exercises and lessons and work on them on some principle things to get them shooting for the first time and understanding grip and a release aid, that sort of thing. And then tonight when we come back, he'll have spent a little bit of time working with that. Obviously they're probably going to be muscle groups that he hasn't used before, so I don't want him to just shoot himself out, so to speak. So we're going to go through some basic things. I'm going to give him some stuff to work on. I'm going to watch him work on that. I'm actually going to work on him with a few coaching things that won't be online. And then tonight, when we go live at 4, is that what we decided? We're going to actually get him in front of a target for the first time with his bow and have him pull back and start to execute some shots, get sighted in, and that sort of thing. So if anyone has any relevant questions, ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to stay on track. So the first thing that we need to do with Tyler is I'm going to check his draw length. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, to be honest. Some people measure wingspan, divide it in half. What I like to do personally is I like to actually have you get into a proper shooting posture, and I'm going to measure pretty much from the wall to the corner of his mouth. This is going to get me in a really good draw length range, and then we may or may not slightly tweak that later, just depending on the string angle. So what you want to do, and if you're a person at home, a little bit later when we get over and we start talking about his bow setup, I can talk to you about some important things that you're going to want to keep in mind if you're selecting your first ever archery equipment, and then also just really talk through some of the most important basic steps that are going to be critical fundamentals moving forward as an archer. And these are things that no matter how accelerated you get from a beginning archer all the way to the best archer in the world, if there's ever a breakdown and the best archer in the world has a slump, then I can tell you that if he is in doubt of what he's doing, then we always come right back to these real basic principles, because when it comes to any type of sport, there's always basic fundamentals that are relevant regardless of what level that you're at. And obviously if you get better, you're going to be able to, I guess, cheat some of those. But if you ever are not successful in cheating them, then you're going to have to come right back to the basics. So we're going to come over here. We'll come to this wall over here. I'm going to set this to the side. So what I want you to do, Tyler, is you're going to stand, well, just for now, just watch me.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have you stand with your feet directly under your shoulders like this. You know, perfect archery form is when it comes to your front shoulders, really if you raise your arms up like this, bend one arm in, it's perfect archery form. Really good. So what we're going to do for your draw length is I want you to have your feet underneath you. I want you to raise your arms up. I don't want you to do any manipulation with your front arm. Just raise it up, make a fist, and I'm going to have you scoot towards the wall so that your feet are still under your body and your fist is on the wall. And then I'm going to make a few adjustments to you and I'll be able to get your measurement. So right now you can see his arm's actually hyperextended. So we're going to soften this elbow, make an actual fist like this. Okay, so the reason we do that is draw length is measured 1 3/4 inches from the pivot point of the bow. So in other words, right where you're putting your hand in the bow, which should be directly under the burger buttonhole, it's 1 3/4 inches from the pivot point of the bow forward. That's how you measure draw length, 1.75 plus the pivot point. So what I find is when most people make a fist, their fist is about 1.5 to, depending on the size of your fist, 2. Mine is exactly 1 3/4. So that actually gives me a very accurate reading of what your true draw length is going to measure. So you've got your fist there. I'm going to soften this elbow a little bit. You can see when I soften that elbow, this front shoulder came down. When he was here, you can see that this is actually rainbowing up. This front shoulder was high. So I'm softening this a little bit. Bring that foot underneath you. There you go. Now just look towards the wall. This is pretty much perfect archery form. He's got a soft front elbow. Front shoulder is in the correct position. It's underneath or directly over the hip, hips over the foot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take his measurement right here, which Tyler is going to sit right at about 29.5 inches. So I know now I'm going to set his bow up to be at about 29.5 inches to start, anywhere from 29 to 30 inches. And the draw length can vary depending on the actual size of the bow. So in other words, Jim, can you grab my hunting bow in the building there?